Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Geek-Minded Fools. My name's Graham.
And I'm Scott.
Normally we kick off with a visit to the monkey farm, but we just got a bit of housekeeping we need to do first.
Keep house, sir.
And that is our Nostradamus-like abilities. We have to address that elephant in the room.
We've not done it again, have we?
Well, no, but... Well, I say no. There's one we haven't actually discussed.
Oh, okay.
Two things now you have requested via this podcast.
I have, haven't I?
That have happened for you.
Yes.
The first one was the Blue Tones.
Yeah.
And the second one...
Second one, I believe, was is my ongoing fight to get Billy Zane back into work.
Of course, Billy Zane. Yes, working in Zoolander 2.
He will be in Zoolander 2, yes.
Yes. And of course, it appears that I have the opposite gift. I have the power to kill.
You do.
It was very soon after the episode in which I announced I'd never seen the film Stand By Me that Benny King died.
He shuffled off this mortal coil through absolute... Well, I suppose he was let down that you'd never seen the film based on the song lead written.
No. So you clearly have the power to bring life and resurrect. And I have the power to end it, which obviously must be wielded.
Call me Herbert West, Reanimator.
A lot more carefully. So with great power comes great responsibility.
It does, doesn't it?
So clearly, we do need to be careful with this. But boy, we can have some fun with it.
Couldn't we?
So you have to want something to happen, and it does.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I've never experienced something.
Yes.
And okay, I've never read anything by Katie Hopkins. Never read a damn thing she's written.
There's nothing I can say to that apart from keep on not reading until something possibly happens.
Absolutely. Anything you want to wish for while we're at it?
Well, it might be linked to your one, actually. But we'd probably get sued if I say what I'd like to happen, to be honest. So for now, I'll just keep on the Billy Zane truck. Let's keep Billy fucking Zane trucking along. We need to get the man working. We need to get him working.
Excellent stuff. Right, now, slightly belatedly, we'll go on to the monkey farm.
Hey, partners, it's time to see what Scott's doing down on his monkey farm.
Well, sir, as always, I have got an absolute packed bag of information, he says, as he snaps the pen and throws it across the room. That's how excited I am about the news this week.
That's how excited.
I've got some Star Wars rumours.
Oh.
I've got a little bit to tell you about some possible big trouble in Little China.
Yep.
And, of course, just for you, sir, I've got some Spidey news.
Nah.
All right, so let's start at the top. Star Wars. We know there's going to be these three little offshoot movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think they're pegging them as being kind of event movies, if you will, to set up what's happened pre A New Hope.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously Josh Trank, who's directed the Fantastic Four movie. Mm-hmm. He stepped away from his movie that he was going to direct, the Star Wars movie.
Did he step, or was he just pushed hastily away after rumours of his behaviour on set?
Well, that's what I read, yes. There was something along those lines, but he did send out a very nice tweet which said something along the lines of, he was really honoured to have been asked to do it, but he feels he's not in the right stage in his career right now because I fucked up Fantastic Four, which I've said without even seeing it, so it's probably a bit unfair. Fantastic Four could be amazing, but
could be.
I think we know it's not going to be, okay? But anyway, he's stepped away, which means that there are rumours that the second of the anthology is going to be, as I said, set before A New Hope, supposedly a Western-influenced film that is going to focus on Han Solo and Boba Fett.
Okay.
And their rivalry. Chewie, Lando and Bosk also as well apparently going to make an appearance. But most excitingly for me, Jon Favreau is being rumoured that he may direct.
Oh, okay.
No, I love everything pretty much that Jon Favreau's done. I mean, he did a great job with the first Iron Man movie. He obviously, we've had Swingers, Very Bad Things, I think was one of his as well, which I absolutely adored. He's a great director. He obviously has a lot of love for this genre. So
he didn't direct Swingers, though, did he?
No, he wrote. He wrote Swingers. But every pie he puts his finger in tastes pretty damn good. And ooh man, I love the pie.
So if we're going back towards New Hope, clearly the parts of Han Solo and Lando are going to be recast as younger actors.
They will be, yeah. And given recent events in most movies for people wanting to change, either sex or race or gender, you never know. Something like that could happen as well. They could change the race of the characters. These are all just rumours. I hope that latter part is just a rumour, because it would be very, very silly for them to do anything with such beloved characters who have got clearly defined rules about who and what they are.
I think it could possibly end the world.
I think it would definitely end the world. But anyway, that is all to come. Oh, I love John Carpenter.
We all love John Carpenter.
In particular, I really love Big Trouble in Little China. I think it is up there with one of my favourite fun movies. It's a movie that you can always... I can switch that movie on halfway through and still be as entertained with it if I'd switched it on at the beginning or three-quarters of the way through. It's a great movie. It's getting remade, it looks like.
It is.
That's not the stinger, though, for me. The stinger is the fact that, as much as I love Dwayne Johnson, Jack Burton, he ain't. The whole point of Jack Burton is that he's an everyman, and he's not a big, burly, superhero-esque character. You know, he looks great in that vest, and I love Kurt Russell, but he's never been kind of the stacked action hero, is he?
No, he hasn't.
So why they would choose to put Dwayne "The Rock, can you smell what I've got cooking" Johnson in the role of Jack Burton, I don't know. He's in talks for the role.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be good. I don't know. The guys who wrote X-Men First Class, Ashley Miller and, believe the name, the other guy is Zach Statz. They've come on. That's a pretty good name, isn't it? They've come on board to write the script. Although that always annoys me as well when you get a remake. It's like, you've already written the script. That was the original film. That was a pretty good script. Doesn't need rewriting, does it? But it looks like they're going to do that anyway. I think if I carry on talking about this, I'm going to get really mega angry, aren't I?
You are.
I already am.
Clearly.
I tell you what, should we pepper just a tiny bit of Star Wars news before the Spidey news?
Go on in.
All right.
4? We're having a 4?
This is only a tiny bit.
Oh, is it? Right,
there was a lovely picture, just to cheer me up, to get me out of this big trouble that's going on in Little China. There was a beautiful picture that was released of Andy Serkis. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
It's him, obviously, all with the little dots all over him for the motion capture.
Hang on. The mocap, Scott.
Thank you very much. Sorry. God, where is my mind, Graham? Where is my mind? It's now been announced his character in Star Wars is going to be Supreme
Jar Jar
Leader.
Binks.
No. Is the people gonna die? Very fucking probably, Jar Jar, if you carry on with that shit. No, he is playing Supreme Leader Snoke.
Oh.
Quite like the name. It looks like the character's going to be wholly mocapped. Motion captured.
No.
However you like it. That was just to bring me down from Big Trouble in Little China. Okay. So, finally today, sir, in the Monkey Farm, which has been, again, pretty speedy, I think, this time.
You sped through this
I've sped through it. I've had a lot of sugar today. A lot of sugar. And Sudafed as well. Anyway, Spidey news, sir. We obviously know that Asa Butterfield is looking like he's going to be our next Spidey stroke Peter Parker.
I keep reading things saying it's definitely him, he's in the top 2, he's in the top 6, but I'll believe it when it's confirmed.
As will I, but he looks like to be the most likely choice, doesn't he, right now?
So far.
So alongside that, the most important role for me is going to be who's directing this next... This next debacle, if you like, because, just because the last guy's name was Webb doesn't mean he should have directed a Spider-Man movie. So, with that in mind, sir, we have got up for the job Ted Melfi, who directed very recently St. Vincent with Bill Murray. Haven't seen it.
No.
Not really interested in seeing it, if I'm honest. More interesting to me is Jonathan Levine, I believe his name is.
It is.
Now, he directed a movie called The Whackness. Have you seen The Whackness?
I haven't, no.
It is a great, great film. It's got the little lad out of the Josh and Drake show in it, which was an American.
No idea.
Was an American kids show. That's that doesn't really matter. But the actor is the same actor. Because I don't know. I just must have been like downtime. I don't know. Really downtime. Really.
Hannah Montana had been cancelled.
That's pretty much the size of it.
You needed something else to jump onto.
That is pretty much the size of it. Also, as well, you've got Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who have just directed the new Vacation movie.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this yet.
I've only seen a still.
Okay, with Ed Helms and the rest of the family. The trailer, very, very good. It's very much along the lines of the original Vacation movies, which I would hope, like me, you absolutely adore, because I do. I think they're great movies.
Sort of one and possibly European, but all the cash-ins beyond that, yeah.
That's understandable.
But
the first two, definitely.
But one in particular, The Journey to Wally World, is an 80s classic movie.
It certainly is, and I would hope something we'll touch on in a later podcast, if I get my way, with you. My money is on Levine here. purely for the fact that I really thought The Whackness was a great movie. I think he's got what it takes to do the whole teenage angst thing. And I feel that's what was missing massively from the last two
very much so.
shiterations that we're going to call them.
Which we won't speak of.
We will never speak of them ever again. That's pretty much it this week for your Monkey Farm news, sir.
It was a succinct one.
It was succinct indeed.
But a good one.
And you know, many apologies for nearly losing my rag there over Big Trouble in Little China, but it is dear to my heart.
That wasn't losing your rag.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Don't make me angry.
Yeah, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Right, thank you, sir. Now we should move on to this episode's Quick Hits.
Quick Hits.
I'll kick off for this one.
Good.
And I've thought long and hard about whether to do this one, if I'm completely honest with you. Because it is a TV show that I've been really, really enjoying. But it just seemed so bizarre that I thought I can't possibly do it as a quick hit. But I've continued to enjoy it, and it's so ridiculous, left field out there in terms of comedy. And I've never seen anything like it before that I thought, what the hell, I'm going to go for it. So my quick hit this week is a BBC Three comedy show called Murder in Successville.
Now, I only saw this advertised for the first time about 2 days ago.
Right.
Me and my flatmate just happened to be watching TV and the trailer came up. I don't recall what it said, but we watched the trailer and I was dumbfounded by it.
It is just...
It looks brilliant.
It is one of the funniest... I kid you not, the first episode had me laughing so hard. You know when you can't quite breathe?
I very much know that feeling.
It was just hilarious, and I would say maybe the second episode wasn't as good, but 3 and 4 have been right up there. Real laugh out loud moments. The concept is that there is a fictional town called Successville, which is populated by celebrities. And therefore, throughout the show, you have celebrity impersonators playing these various celebrities along the way. In varying degrees of...
Good, not so good, and
ability,
really bad.
Yes. Yeah. Some of them are just meant to be shit. But the main character in it is a guy called D.I. Sleet, who is
played by one of my favourite comedic actors.
Tom Davis.
He's brilliant.
Now, Tom Davis is one of those guys whose name you might not immediately know, but whose face you will definitely know as soon as you see it. He's
like a big cuddly version of Bronson.
To me, he's like a big 6'6" version of sort of Nick Frost. He's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was in the most recent series of...
House of Fools,
yes, indeed.
He was one of the three dance
guys in the last episode, yes. He was also in the Keith Lemon sketch show, playing rather fabulously Khloe Kardashian, the real tall Wookiee-like Kardashian, with full beard and everything.
Love it. He's got a great voice as well.
He has. But in this, he plays D.I. Sleet, who is a washed-up cop who works in Successville and who has to investigate any murders that happen. And what happens is a real-life celebrity will take part in each show playing a rookie cop who has to work alongside D.I. Sleet in order to solve a celebrity murder.
Love it already.
Now, in the first episode, it was Jamie Lang from Made in Chelsea, which I have to admit was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because Jamie Lang took it very much in the spirit it was intended, played along. And what happens is they have to go into various situations with these celebrities.
Right.
And sometimes Tom Davis is with them and he's just being stupid and making them laugh. But the funniest bit about the Jamie Lang bit was when first Bruno Tonioli had been murdered. And first they had to speak to the two local gangsters, which was the Carr brothers, Alan and Jimmy. Now, Alan was the real spiff, and the guy who did Alan Carr was absolutely fantastic, spot-on impersonation. The bloke who did Jimmy Carr was clearly the nutter of the two, but therefore didn't speak. Just every time he wanted to say something, he'd just go...
Proper good. We like that a lot.
Then Jamie Lang had to go off on his own to infiltrate the rival gang, which was the One Direction gang, with Harry Styles and the Irish one, Niall, whatever his name is.
The one who's left.
Now, Harry Styles was played by the slightly chubby guy who was also in House of Fools quite a bit, whose name completely escapes me, but he's absolutely hilarious. Did you ever watch Toast of London?
Yes, I watched a few episodes of it.
The bloke who played Ray... God, what's his name? His nemesis.
Harry Peacock, was it? No, Tony Way. He's the other dancer in House of Fools.
He played Niall. And what I love is, during the course of it, they corpse. So you've got Jamie Lang is being told by the Ice Leak, Tom Davis, in his ear what to say. And as he's saying it, Jamie Lang is laughing, which is making the other two laugh. And it's just people pissing themselves laughing.
Well, it sounds like a really great concept.
It is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, the second one was... Who was the guy who hosted I Survived a Zombie Apocalypse, a Radio 1 DJ? Was it Greg something?
Greg James.
Greg James, that's it. The third one was Deborah Meaden from Dragon's Den,
right,
who played along to a certain extent but tried to play it straight and therefore was very offended by some of the stuff that they would say, which just made it even more hilarious. And the last one was Dermot O'Leary.
Right, this is what confused me and my flatmate, because when the advert came on, it said something along the lines of, will Dermot Leary survive, blah, blah, blah. And then it showed all this trailer, and I was like, what? I don't understand it. Now I understand it, and it makes perfect sense. Yes. Okay.
Now, by the time this comes out, there will have been a 5th episode this Wednesday just gone, but obviously I wouldn't have seen that yet because I don't have a DeLorean. No. But there is one regular character, and that is the police chief. It's Gordon Ramsay. So Gordon Ramsay will come on at the start to the new room and go, all right, Twinkle Toes, I don't know what you think you're going to be doing, but this guy's going to teach you nothing. He's going to be 90% bullshit. And he's just absolutely hilarious. And then what happens is they meet all these celebrities. I mean, in the first one as well, there was a woman playing Darcy Bustle. You've had, oh God, just trying to think, they've had Cheryl...
Gary Barlow,
Gary Barlow,
Mary Berry, yes. Boris Johnson, Lana Del Rey, Jay-Z.
There's been so many great ones. Jesse J.
I like the fact as well they've got Dynamo in there as well, but they've got someone else to play.
Yeah, they just throw people in stupid situations. But as I say, the people doing the impersonations are very good. You can immediately tell who people are. And it was one of those shows that I thought, you know what, it sounds a bit stupid, but I'll watch it. But it is so out there. It is so hilariously funny. I mean, most of the episodes you'll still be able to catch on iPlayer. I'm sure, at least I hope they will bring it out on at least DVD, because I'll be buying it, because I still have the Jamie Lang episode recorded on my Sky Plus, and I still haven't deleted it, because every so often I'll go back and watch that One Direction scene and just piss myself laughing. It is absolutely hilarious.
Well, I'm definitely going to give it a watch. So it's on iPlayer, is that?
It has to be on iPlayer, because it's a BBC Three show. I really hope it's on iPlayer.
I should definitely give this a go, because the trailer for it, just catching the trailer the other night, it's something that's been on my radar, and I do now need to watch it. Sounds like it's got tinges of Stella Street and things like that.
Very much Stella Street sort of thing, but sort of taken onto a crime background to it.
And sometimes as well, TV shows like this really can launch careers, can't they? Because we know from things like Stella Street and even Big Train, when you had some of the actors like Simon Pegg
and Heap and
they do their little impersonations of people, and this is how you get recognised. So hopefully these guys will get a lot of work out of this.
If this programme doesn't at last give Tom Davis the platform he deserves, then it's pardon the pun, it's a massive injustice.
Yeah. Because he is a little bit of a treasure, isn't he?
It is hilarious. In fact, we're just going to stop there a minute. Right, we just took a short break there whilst I showed Scott some of the highlights from that first episode. What did you think?
That was pretty damn good. The guy playing Gordon Ramsay is jaw-droppingly good. Bell end. Yeah, we like that. That's I think this has been one of my favourite of your quick hits thus far.
Good, excellent. As I say, I wasn't sure whether to do it. It sort of seemed a bit out there, but I just thought, you know what, I have to share this, because anybody who's not watching this really should be. It is absolutely brilliant.
That looks like something I'm going to be able to binge watch very easily.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So, there you go. Murder in Successville. A really funny, stupid little show.
Excellent stuff, sir.
What about you?
There's a little bit of a tinge of sadness, I suppose, to my quick hit this week, I'm afraid. I'm sorry about that, but sadness and celebration, I suppose. Our listeners who have the ability of that thing you called reading may have seen a post that you put up on our Facebook page regarding the lovely Betsy Palmer.
Yes.
Who passed away, 88, was she?
She was 88, yes.
So she was as old as it is fast to go back in time, as it were.
Beautifully said.
Thanks. I think Betsy would have liked it.
She'd have appreciated it.
She'd have said... So, obviously, with that in mind, it would be remiss of me not to pick one of my favourite films of all time this week for my quick hit, which is Friday the 13th.
Yes.
And already I am genuinely quite sad that she's passed away, because she a huge part of my younger life watching horror movies.
Your development as a horror fan.
I vividly remember in the old house in Ruxley Lane where I grew up, being able to go to the video store on a Friday evening with my brother, and he'd take me down, and I was, the odd time then that you were allowed to sort of just pick 18 rated movies off the shelf when I was this came out in 1980. I didn't see it in 1980. I would have been about 10, so about 86 I would have seen it. What a movie. The blueprint of slasher movies, in my opinion. The basic story is a group of counsellors, camp counsellors, not camp counsellors, Graham. A group of camp counsellors are stalked and murdered and picked off by an unknown assailant whilst they're trying to get this summer camp up and running.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Yes, or Camp Blood, sometimes referred to as well. Now, this is the kicker, you see. The summer camp they're trying to get up and running, years and years before, was the site of a child drowning.
It was.
So,
and what was that child's name, Scott?
Jason. There's going to be a lot of that during this quick hit, I would imagine. I will keep this relatively brief, I must say, because it's more just a little bit of fan service for me as well. Just to say goodbye, Betsy Palmer. Thank you very much for being, as I said on the Facebook page, without a doubt, the most overprotective mother in horror film history. Spoilers, guys, if you haven't seen Friday the 13th, Jason ain't in it.
No.
He kind of is, but in a dream sequence, played by the now bizarre-looking Ari Lehman, I believe the guy's name is. He makes his money now off of really bad rock music and T-shirts of him made up as Jason.
Nice.
So fair play to him. He's living the
Cashing
dream.
in,
He's living the dream. I don't think you're ever going to find a slasher horror movie to rival Friday the 13th. They've tried many, many, many times. You had things like Sleepaway Camp, which is something I will be talking to you about in future podcasts. If you haven't seen it, you need to.
The Burning.
The Burning, yes, indeed. With Cropsey was the bad guy in The Burning, I believe.
One I remember from my childhood.
As
I say childhood, from my teen years.
For your teen years, yes indeed. Often imitated, never bettered.
Fisher Stevens was in The Burning, wasn't he?
He was.
Is he the one who got his fingers cut off?
I think he was. Yes. And as well in The Burning.
As
well in The Burning, I'm pretty sure George Costanza is in it.
He is,
yes. He? Yeah, I think he's on that same raft.
Yes, with hair,
yes. Everywhere. Head, chest, balls. The whole 9 yards.
9 yards of hair.
Obviously, the only person really of note in the original Friday the 13th was, of course,
Kevin Bacon.
Yes, it was indeed, sir. And not many of the other players went on to do anything else. Adrienne King, who played your protagonist, Alice, she got out of the movie business after Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
She filmed a brief cameo, I think, for Friday the 13th Part 2, but she was actually harassed for a number of years by some deranged fan.
Really?
Yeah. A deranged Friday the 13th fan harassed her for years after the original film, and she decided she was never going to really do anything again, which was a shame, because she was one of the original Scream Queens. And very good at it as well. To those of you who haven't seen Friday the 13th, don't be stupid. Go and watch Friday the 13th. There's many in the series. Alright, some of them are a bit silly. Completely skip over Jason Goes to Hell because it's absolute pish.
Much like most of these things, though, it does kind of decrease in quality the
does.
higher the numbers go.
Although, ironically, my favourite of the series as a whole is Part 3, because obviously this is where Jason first gets the mask.
Yes.
Which keen-eyed listeners will have seen myself wearing in our beautiful artwork by Mark.
You are the Scott Voorhees
I am indeed. I am
the
Scott Voorhees. I'll cut this short now because I don't want to gush too much about it, but if you haven't seen Friday the 13th, you need to see Friday the 13th. And please join me in wishing Betsy Palmer's family all the condolences in the world, because she was a fantastic actress. She stuck to her guns. She never cashed in. She never went back and did anything that she didn't want to do. With the remake, she outright told them she wasn't going to cameo in the remakes because she thought they were terrible. And well done to her.
Yeah.
So thank you, Betsy Palmer, for being absolutely awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. And now we shall move on to this week's main topic.
When they got the ball, you know they won't drop it. The Geek-Minded fools discuss the main topic.
Well, sir, a couple of things have come to an end, have they not?
They have. A couple of DC-inspired TV shows. So
where do we start with this?
Well, we just thought, we'd have a discussion, have a season review, and see what we thought and what we think about them moving forward.
Yes.
And of course, the two of them are Gotham, telling the early story of young Bruce Wayne and his various cast of characters, and the other one was The Flash.
And they were both pretty damn good.
Well, very, very entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to say. I mean, you go back even 5 years and the idea of having TV shows like this being mainstream on the telly was pretty unthinkable.
Unheard of.
And yet now they're the ones that generate all the buzz and get all the conversations going.
Yeah,
So
I think so much so. They may have even, for a certain age group, have knocked things like EastEnders and Coronation Street off their radar. No, I mean, but seriously, a lot of people of my age are EastEnders fans.
Really?
They really genuinely are. And one particular person who I know who's an EastEnders fan, I know has moved on to Gotham and now kind of poo-poos like the soap operas.
I'm amazed that firstly there's any kind of a crossover in terms of audience for this, but that somebody who is that into EastEnders would just stop watching a programme simply because there's another programme at another time slot on,
I think maybe they just were waiting for their sit, as it were. They were waiting for the right programming to come along for them.
Maybe they have OCD and they're only allowed to watch 5 programmes a week.
That's probably what
if
it
a new
is.
one comes along, stop one of the originals.
That's probably what it is. He is only allowed to drive the car on Sundays on the driveway. So that's probably what it is,
yes.
Indeed, yeah. Where do you want to start, sir? What do you want to go with first? Should we go Gotham? Should we go Flash? Should we go Flash? Should we go Gotham?
Gotham Flash. Let's go Gotham.
Well, I think obviously you can tell already that I absolutely adored every single second of Gotham. Mm-hmm. I must admit there were parts maybe towards the season break that got a little bit flabby for me. But man, did it pick up again when it came back. God, that was a good show.
Isn't it weird now, and it's mainly because of the internet, that we have mid-season breaks?
Yeah.
Because before, whenever a new show came out, it would obviously come out in sort of September in the States. And yet we wouldn't get it until January because obviously the TV companies over here don't like to take breaks and they wanted to show them all consecutively on a weekly basis. And so they would start them in January and they would end in May just as they were finishing in the States. But because of the internet and people being able to illegally download stuff, in order to make sure people do watch it on your channel, you have to put it out at the same time. So suddenly we do have odd schedules and mid-season breaks and what have you. So yeah, that is certainly sort of something maybe a little frustrating because, it's always nice to be able to watch something all the way through without having to take a 3-month break.
Yeah, I mean,
in between every
the binge watch has
series.
become the way to view things nowadays, isn't it? It's to be able to save episodes for a few weeks. And
to a certain extent, but again, with the internet and particularly with Facebook, I mean, I know that a couple of times I had to very quickly avoid spoilers that people whacked up on Facebook or Twitter, that particularly when it's people in the States who are sort of stating stuff about stuff they've just seen, and we know we're not going to see it for another week. You have to go, oh my god, no, I can't read that.
Indeed. Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to save stuff up to binge watch simply because the internet, the way it is, people spoil stuff. But anyway, we're getting slightly off topic.
That's all right. No, I think we were perfectly on topic, sir.
Okay,
I think we were perfectly on topic. But let's get back further on topic, though. Yes. So, Gotham, 22 episodes. Just where do you start with it? I mean, obviously, we did one of your quick hits a few episodes back, which was Gotham Central.
Yes, it was.
Which I didn't know existed until you told me. But obviously, this owes a fair bit of...
A certain amount, only in terms of the police side of things.
Yeah.
But in terms of a young Bruce Wayne and younger versions of characters we're all very aware of when Batman's around, very unique.
It was. Unique is the perfect word for it.
And very cleverly done in a great many ways. I mean, people have highlighted the Penguin as probably being the breakout character, who I think has very much stolen the show. But I would want to sort of give a bit of a tip of the hat to Edward Nygma, the Riddler, who I thought was equally socially awkward and didn't quite fit in and obsessed with his riddles and annoying to people. But then towards the end, very much showed his psychopathic side and.
Genuinely got goosebumps.
The hairs are standing up.
Genuinely got goosebumps because I thought Corey Michael Smith, who played Nygma, was absolutely jaw-dropping.
He was.
And those few episodes where he finally flips.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can describe the Riddler's change, isn't it? It's just a flip. Wow, he was scary. Really scary. More scary than I think I've seen the Riddler being portrayed in the past. And I love Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. I think he is the Riddler.
But he was obviously the more manic side of the character.
I mean, he just really, really nailed it, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely. Very dark. I'm still not sure where they're going with this Kristin Kringle character, Miss Kringle, who's very much central to his story and his development.
Yeah.
But, you're not sure really how they're going to develop that character and how she's going to play a part in not only his development, but you wonder whether they've got a future character in mind for her as well.
Exactly what I was going to say. She almost seems like she's been earmarked to play her own villain or hero. I would probably hazard a guess at a villain. Very, very good though, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone involved...
Sort of creepy and offbeat, a bit weird. I mean, the whole dynamic between those two was odd and awkward, and even though she was clearly the more socially aware, she was still a bit odd, in her behaviour. It was
almost like a female version of Enigma.
But sort of toned down.
But toned down massively. Okay, cool. Well, let's go back to the beginning, because we touched earlier on the younger characters. Obviously, I know Enigma and Penguin are younger versions of themselves. But what was more interesting to me, I think, was seeing a younger Selena Kyle.
Yes.
And a younger Poison Ivy.
Yes.
Who I thought were both brilliantly played. In particular, Selena Kyle.
She was very good. The odd thing I found was obviously in the series, they're referring to the character we're obviously being led to believe is Poison Ivy as Ivy. Yeah. And yet in the comic, she's Pamela Isley, who eventually becomes Poison Ivy. Yeah. So, I'm not sure whether they're giving us a bit of a red herring there and she will turn out to be something different.
Do you know what? I hadn't even thought of that. I just took it as written that she was.
Yeah, that is probably what they're doing.
Yeah.
But, they are obviously, that's, one of the few characters that they're messing with the comics history of. So, I don't know, time will tell.
Time will indeed tell. Obviously, along the way as well, it could have suffered very badly from, I think, what has now been called Villain of the Week syndrome.
Yes.
And it looked like it was going to go that way a little bit for the first few episodes, but it kind of leveled itself out and started having story arcs that were carrying over episodes, which made it a lot more of a whole.
I think sort of gave it a bit more credibility in terms of storytelling, rather than being your standard superhero villain of the week. No, it certainly developed its storyline. I think what it wanted to do was just establish its characters to those who obviously weren't familiar with the comics, and then you can start to have fun and sort of draw out some stories. And I thought the last multi-parter storyline with the serial killer played by Milo
Ventimiglia.
The
ogre.
Yes, was very good, and I thought played out really well. Yes, I thought he was suitably creepy, and I thought his whole sort of fetishism background, and obviously, the fact that Barbara was clearly a bit deranged anyway. And it was quite interesting that at the end of one episode, when she went, "Oh, what's in here?" and he said, "Oh, go in and have a look," and she found his sort of dungeon of sorts.
His murder room.
And I wasn't sure how she was going to take it, because he sort of came in and I think put his hand on her shoulder, and she turned to look at him, and I thought just before the credits went there was the hint of a smile, and I thought, is she buying into this? But then it turns out the next episode she hadn't, so whether that was again just a bit of a red herring. But her descent from society gal into utter madness was quite an interesting journey as well.
It was brilliantly done, brilliantly done. We had a lot of bit part villains, if you like, as well. I mean, villains that I know are very, very big in the Batman universe, but ones that I didn't quite expect to see in this, such as obviously you had Zaz in there, which was great to see him. Maybe for me, he was a little bit too knew what he was doing. The Zaz that I kind of have read and that I know from the games, I know, there's going to be many different iterations of this character. He's a little bit more out there and a bit freakish. Whereas in this, he was quite, he was
very in control.
Very in control. Yes. Thank you for giving me the words that I just evidently could not get out of my head. Also, as well, you had Black Mask. Roman Sion, I can never pronounce his name.
Must have been quite early on, because it doesn't ring a bell.
Richard Sion, I can't pronounce his name. How do you say Black Mask's name?
I can tell you.
No, but it's something like, it's Roman Sionis. But in this, he was Richard Sionis. Do you remember the episode where you had the guy who had the black mask and he was like they were doing the underground fighting kind of thing?
No.
Don't remember that episode?
Completely escaped me. No.
That was a fair way back. I think it was kind of around about episode 10, episode 11-ish. Maybe possibly episode was called Lovecraft.
Okay.
He was very, very good. Very, very good. It didn't let me down violence-wise either. I thought it was...
They certainly didn't shy away.
They didn't shy away. But I do have to say, it was either episode 1 or episode 2 that they made a very, very strange choice. There's a chase scene, and Jim Gordon had a camera rig on his chest. I don't know if you recall it, but it just looked insane. They cut from like a great shot of sort of like this chase going off, and almost like a Point Break style chase.
To a sort of POV.
To a POV pointed up at Jim Gordon's face.
Oh, yes, I do remember.
And you'd see it, and he'd be running like that.
Oh, yes.
I had to rewatch that about 3 times. Just really? Did they really put that in there? Have they really done? They have
an odd choice.
And I tell you what, they didn't do it again, did they? Because evidently someone went, you know that POV shot you did?
Shit.
It was shit.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're listening, Billy Zane's a great camera operator. What else happened?
What about Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock? What was your thoughts of them?
See, now, originally when they put out the first press release for Gotham, the rumours were that Donald Logue was going to be playing Jim Gordon.
Oh, okay.
And I got quite excited about that. I thought, I think he'd make a relatively good Jim Gordon. But now looking at the fact that they recast him as Bullock, I think that was a wise choice. Because he's a little bit too long in the tooth, old dog, tricks,
but
whatever you want to say.
Also, looking at his CV, he plays more of your down at heel, grubby type characters rather than what Gordon needed to be, which is a young idealistic cop. So I thought casting wise, I thought it was superb. I think. Do
you know what I think we should talk about right now?
Go on.
As you've just said it. I think we need to talk about Ben McKenzie. Yeah. And I think right here, Graham, would be a perfect place for you to intersperse your new jingle. Because I think I've got another bit of a man crush on Ben McKenzie. I think he's very good as Gordon.
I have to say that I know this is not fitting with my geek status, but back in the day, in its first season or two, I was quite a fan of the OC.
A lot of people were.
I liked it. I enjoyed that. It eventually turned a bit shit, and I backed away, as I'm prone to doing. But one thing I would say, for having seen this and the OC, and also a little bit of, was it South Central? No, what was that cop show he was on?
Southland,
that's it. Having seen that, he has one acting style and one acting style alone.
Oh, he does.
He sort of does that little sort of look out the side of his eyes when he's going, oh, what? And it's... but no, I thought, as the young Jim Gordon, I thought he was absolutely superb. I can't fault it. He delivered exactly what needed to be in terms of his grittiness, but his idealism.
I think he kind of already may have had a little bit of a head start as well, because he's actually played Batman.
Has he?
Yeah, he voiced Batman in the Batman Year One animated. So he voiced both Bruce Wayne and Batman, obviously. Nice. So he may have had a bit of a head start with the mythos of the character and such like. So, but yeah, no, I think he's played the role very well. It was always going to be a role that people could have looked at and said, oh, no one can play Jim Gordon like Gary Oldman, or like, I don't know, no one can be the iteration that we've seen in the comics. No one can actually bring that to life properly. And I love Gary. I think Gary Oldman did a stand-up job of playing him in the Nolan films. So he had some big shoes to fill, I think. But I think fill them he has. I think he's been very good for this show.
But I think the time has now come to address the elephant in the room.
Go on then.
Fish Mooney.
Do you not like her?
Every fucking scene with Jada Pinkett Smith in it just absolutely annoyed me. Her scenery chewing,
I love her,
was exemplary.
Oh, I love her.
I just couldn't stand her. Just this person who's supposed to be so tough and gritty and taking no nonsense, and it almost became a parody. It's like, if you're going to show a strong female character, show a strong female character. Don't show somebody who's so over the top it almost becomes ridiculous, and therefore becomes almost a laughable female character, which completely goes against what you're trying to do in the first place. Someone said to her, look, you're in a comic book series, so really ham it up. Yeah. And I thought it was ridiculous, and I have to say, the episodes where she didn't appear sat a lot
some of your favourite ones.
Even the bit where she carved her eye out with a spoon. And trod on it, and it was just so over the top. And out of everybody, I felt everybody played it really well, and it was only her screen time. She was almost channeling Eartha Kitt. It was kind of that, what you have to realise, my dear.
I think you're right with that, definitely. I think there was more than a shade of Eartha Kitt about her performance. Yeah. And I think she probably sat with her husband and got some tips on acting.
She certainly gave me the Eartha Kitts.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting, but extraordinarily funny. No, I liked her. I really did like her. I think she was needed in the show. I understand what you're saying. She was massively over the top. And yet, I can see she would be grating. For me, I don't think there was enough of her to grate me that much. I think there was a good little level. Plus, as well, I really liked her right-hand man.
Yes. Yes,
played by Drew Powell, who I just thought was absolutely brilliant. I've not seen him in much. I think he's mostly done voiceover stuff. I think he may have possibly been...
Because I thought that the other two crime bosses, Maroney
and Falcone,
played it very well. Maybe, I mean, the guy who played Maroney, obviously the guy who was in
David
Dexter.
Zayas.
Yeah, now I like him, and I felt, there was a couple of times where he went a little bit over the top. But
I think they all do, don't they?
No, you see, to me, the guy who played Falcone, I thought particularly...
That's John Doman.
Particularly the scenes with the girl that Fish planted with him, the one to remind him of his wife. When he had to kill her, and again, spoilers, there are obviously going to be spoilers in this episode. When he had to kill her, what a wonderfully underplayed and emotional scene that was.
Yeah.
It broke his heart, but he knew he had to do it.
Yeah. He's obviously, a very respected actor, was in The Wire as well. And I loved him in The Wire. So when he popped up in this, it was kind of like, oh, wow, I've not seen you for a long time. What are you playing? Oh, my God, you're Falcone. Brilliant. Couldn't want for more, I don't think, from those two. But I agree with you on David Zayas. So he did... if anyone was chewing scenery, it was him.
But that all being said, I thought, was a cracking series. It had a few peaks and troughs, as you'd expect most 22-episode series to have. But then it came to the finale, the last episode, which I have to say just went batshit crazy. And I was sitting there watching it just going, really, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, you've got this gang war that the Penguin has set up. Yeah. The first thing that I just did not get, obviously, suddenly Fish Mooney's back and brings with her gang.
A gang of really, really weak people who have been stowed underground.
But why suddenly is somebody who's been a very strong, independent, fuck you kind of character like Selena Kyle suddenly just sides with her for no good reason because she happens to be there when she lands?
That made no sense.
I didn't buy that at all.
Yeah.
And then it almost became like a pantomime, and clearly they wanted to off Maroney, and therefore with Falcone gone, Maroney needs to team up with Fish Mooney in order to run Gotham. And yet, for reasons unknown, for an intelligent crime boss who knows that the only way you can survive and carry on in business is to respect this person, just because she's a woman, to suddenly start talking down to her and calling her babe and laughing about her, thus you're giving her no option but to put a bullet in his forehead. From what we'd seen earlier, completely out of character. And only done in order to make her look strong and have a bit of a holy shit, I didn't see that kind of moment by her shooting him. Again, they're almost doing something for impact value rather than because character-wise it made any sense. It was just totally bizarre. I mean, Barbara's descent into insanity had been handled really well, but then when she was being interviewed by Lee...
Yeah, Jim's current girlfriend.
Yeah, just went bizarre. Took a very bizarre and somewhat unbelievable twist. And it's almost like they thought, right, last episode, let's ramp this up. And
let's throw all this shit
precisely, yes, and let's surprise everyone. And frankly, it just took me out of the show. It just made me go, what? Every 5 minutes? Yeah. What? Why are you doing this? And the end with Fish attacking Oswald, and getting thrown over the side, and him standing there going, I'm the king of Gotham.
King of Gotham.
And it almost just descended into farce. And I thought, for something that had been built up so well, they almost said, right, take the fucking trailing wheels off, let's go batshit crazy and let's just completely fuck everything up. I was literally sitting there going, what on earth have they done? What on earth have they done? Genuinely, for 21 episodes, and I say there were peaks and troughs, and I sat there and watched it and really enjoyed it. So for you,
episode 22 was a trough?
It killed it.
Wow.
It absolutely killed it. I was so disappointed.
I loved it. I thought that final episode was really, really good, and I thought it was really good for one reason. Obviously, by killing Maroney, we've now, done away with Two-Face's original origin, which was Maroney throws acid in his face in the courtroom, so we can't have that anymore. So that now means we can have an all-new origin for Two-Face.
Why does that matter, though? What's that got to do with the price of bacon?
Because I think it's nice to see something new. I think it's going to be... Because they've gone so off-piece with the whole show.
Been something new.
Well, that's what I mean. Because they've gone so off-piece with the show. I like the fact that they went out on a massively off-piece explosion.
You didn't need to kill Maroney in order not to have Maroney be the one throwing acid in Harvey's face.
No, in fairness, you are right.
So
you are right.
It was odd. And like I say, the fact that they killed him wasn't what bothered me. It was just the nature in which they killed him, having him behave so ridiculously for a crime boss. And they say, with these mafia types and the crime bosses, it's all about respect.
Yeah.
And why suddenly at that moment, when your main rival has gone, and all of a sudden to say, okay, we're partners, but I'm partner number one, and you're partner number... You wouldn't do that. You would say, okay, for the sake of keeping control, yes, I will split it with you, and we will run it side by side, and fire cones out of my hair. I just don't get the sudden attitude that clearly led to him taking a bullet in the head. You're fully deserved.
I think in that situation, it was just who was going to draw the gun first, and it was her, obviously, that drew the gun first. I was surprised that they took him out, but I must say I did quite enjoy seeing him get taken out because he was very annoying doing that babe thing.
I felt the pantomime the last one.
Oh, I'm sorry that you didn't like the last episode. Genuinely, I'm seeing as you obviously enjoyed the rest of it.
Yeah, to varying degrees.
Yeah, but of course. Yeah, I mean there were episodes I didn't like. I must admit.
Yeah, but I have to say, clearly they went because they thought, right, we can do early Batman.
Yeah.
And we are going to do a dark comic book series like a dark comic book series should be done.
Yeah.
The makers of this must have seen Daredevil and shat themselves.
Oh,
they must have thought, oh, fuck, we were supposed to be the dark one, and we look like Mickey Mouse compared to this lot.
Oh, it looks camp as Christmas, doesn't it, next to Daredevil?
Absolutely.
But everything now is going to pale... in the light of Daredevil.
In the comparison with Daredevil,
just purely for the fact that it was adultly written and it was adultly filmed and it was just brilliantly shot. Not to say that I'm not going against Gotham because I did really like Gotham. I think, in all honesty, they've got a lot of hard work to do in season 2. I mean, we know we're getting a season 2.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see what they do with Penguin. Because he is now obviously prime boss
and Nigma as well.
And Nigma.
Those are the two ones whose stories I'm really looking forward to seeing where they're going with it.
One thing we haven't touched on here, sir.
Go on.
The little teasers that we got throughout the show a couple of times regarding one of my favourites, and I would assume one of yours, the Joker.
Yes.
I thought they were shit. I didn't like the teasers.
No.
Don't bother. If you're not going to tell me anything interesting, don't bother telling me anything.
Absolutely, no.
The scene with the red-headed guy in the prison in the interrogation room, that was all well and good, but I didn't need it to be a reference to the Joker.
The Red Hood episode,
very good.
The comedian in the club,
very good. Didn't need any of it.
No.
As you just said, a second ago, if you haven't got anything good to say, just don't say it.
But then,
a character like that is too important.
True, but then you can understand and want to do it because of all the characters we're seeing, he's the one we want to see.
Oh, of course.
We want to see an early Joker.
Of course.
And therefore, what they're doing is teasing us.
Yeah.
But that either makes you go, oh, wicked, or as it turned out, just frustrate you, mate. You go, do you know what, just fucking don't bother. Show us him when you're going to show us him. But they obviously felt they had mileage in it. So
I think because they hadn't done it with any of the other characters, the other villains as such, it didn't work for me with them. I think maybe let's just finish up on Gotham by giving just a little honourable mention to a few other people there who were like Carol Kane, who played Oswald's mother, Mrs. Cobblepot, who I thought stole every scene she was in.
Magnificently batty.
That and the fact that I've always had a crush on her, ever since I can remember, to be honest. Yeah, she was absolutely jaw-dropping. Also, as well, really nice to see a little mention to Scarecrow. I loved those 2 episodes that regarded the Scarecrow. Yeah. And for me, for my money, sir, the show is stolen, I think, by one of our finest British actors, Sean Pertwee. Yeah. I love him as Alfred.
He's very much Alfred from the Batman Earth 1 graphic novels, sort of the more gritty, with a bit of a background and, not your posh English butler.
Love his relationship with Bruce.
Yes.
Love the way he talks to him. In particular, love the episode when he's teaching him how to box.
Yes.
Brilliant. All in all, sir, for me, Gotham, a massive success.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to season 2.
And I am too.
And I'm completely on board with your concerns about the show as well. There definitely were troughs. But for me, the final episode wasn't one.
They just wanted to do too much to make you go, holy shit. And I was saying holy shit for entirely the wrong reasons. But as I say, that's a great thing about this. We all have different opinions and different requirements of these shows. So,
Indeed, we do.
And then The Flash.
The Flash, a character I've never known a great deal about.
Okay.
But I dived into The Flash and loved it. Saturday morning TV, isn't it? It's every inch the Saturday morning serial.
What I loved about it, I mean, I started watching Arrow, but I just felt it was too dark and I didn't care about the characters, and I stepped away very, very quickly.
Exactly what I said to my flatmate Martin. I was not interested.
Yeah.
I didn't like the character enough to carry on with it.
Now, The Flash, what I liked about it was a lot lighter, but it had a very dark undertone.
Foreboding.
Yes, precisely.
Brooding.
With the whole Reverse Flash and Dr. Wells and that sort of thing. I thought the whole thing as it went along had characters that you were interested in and cared about, and across the board there is not one character in there that you would say, apart from, it was, and I always say that and then say apart from, I would say one character that was a bit wet and maybe not used as well as they could have been was the female character, the girl who worked with Cisco.
Caitlin
Yes.
Snow. Played by the delightful Danielle Panner.
Yeah, now I felt that they didn't write her well because in terms of a backstory and an interesting personality, they sort of focused all on Cisco, with his relationship with his brother that was touched upon and, his sort of quirky nature. And you kind of get the feeling that they think, much like in the way of Arrow, where you've got Felicity something, that they just need a bit of skirt
Felicity
in there.
Smoke, isn't it?
And I just felt like, flesh her out a bit, give her a bit more personality. And I know that they gave us the backstory with Ronnie, but even sort of, her grieving over his supposed death never felt like it was sort of given the time and the emotional depth that was allowed to other characters.
Yeah, well, I'll buy that. I'm with you on that. Definitely.
So
she was definitely not fleshed out.
Yeah, she was underused. But yeah, I just felt, the characters were superb. I thought, Barry was instantly likeable.
That's what sold it to me.
Yes.
The fact that he's I just wanted to give him a big cuddle because he's just so lovely.
He's a good guy.
He is a proper good guy. He's a proper hero.
And he's a hero. That's it. He is a hero. He will sacrifice, in order to do the right thing. And I think
he's kind of DC's Captain America, if you like. As in, he cannot be twisted or corrupted. He's just an all-round good guy.
I would say that Superman was DC's Captain America. Sort of, your golden boy.
I'm talking more at the moment from the cinematic universe. Okay. If we're looking at maybe the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Chris Evans playing Captain America, I would liken Barry Allen or Grant Gustin playing him to that kind of vibe.
In being a nice guy.
Yeah, he's just lovely, isn't he?
Yes,
just so lovely.
And I thought his relationship with his surrogate father was brilliantly played. Yeah. I thought both of those were superb.
He was great as well. That's Jesse L. Martin playing Joe West. Yeah. Was really, really, really good. Every scene he's in, I buy him. I believe him. He's just a very, very good actor all round. There weren't many poor performances in the show, full stop.
No.
I think for me, Wentworth Miller.
Yeah, as just Captain Cold.
Jaw-droppingly good.
But
who knew he could act? Because I watched Prison Break and it was shit.
The great thing about Cisco was the way that he would come up with the names for the villains, and that was.
I'm glad you liked that because I didn't know whether because we've not really spoken at any great length about the Flash, and obviously for the purpose of the podcast we like to keep things fresh when we're talking like this.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you like that because I thought that was a really clever little plot device.
Yeah.
How are we going to explain these crazy whacked out fucking names?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Cisco.
There was a geek coming up with them and being proud of, I've come up with this.
And he is a brilliant geek as well. He's the kind of guy I'd like to sit and play computer games with. He's very cool. I like Cisco.
And Tom Cavanagh, I have to say, as Harrison Wells, was brilliant. Played it superbly well as the nice guy up to a certain point, and then suitably evil as we learned he was the reverse.
Evil.
Yeah, and I remember him back when he was in Ed. Do you ever watch Ed?
I do. The lawyer who worked out of a bowling alley.
Bowling alley, that's all right.
My thing with Tom Cavanagh is I can't look at him without seeing the guy who directed Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn.
Oh, really?
God, does he look like him?
I tell you, because he always played in Scrubs. He played Zach Braff's older brother.
He did. Always in the bar,
the same,
drinking beer.
Yes. And because they always look the same as well. But I thought he played it absolutely superbly.
Yeah, he was. Very, very good.
Particularly that first reveal when you just see him get out of the chair when he's in the room was just
Again, I think I've mentioned him quite a bit this episode for some reason, but again, my flatmate hadn't seen The Flash, and I said, man, you've got to watch The Flash. You will love it. And he got a couple of episodes in. He's like, everyone's brilliant, aren't they? Everyone's so good in it. See, I really like the guy who's playing Harrison Wells. He's such a lovely character, isn't he? He's just such a, he wants to do good, and it's like, oh shit, dude,
You got it coming.
oh, it's going, the shit going to hit the fan. But yeah, he's very, very good, very, very good. But much like Gotham, though, I think everyone involved again. All very, very well cast.
Yes, absolutely. And some very good recurring characters as well. Obviously, you had the guys who combined to make Firestorm.
Yep.
You had Ronnie Raymond, and also the guy whose name escapes me, but he was Garner's dad in Alias.
Yes.
The guy who played the older chap.
I can never remember his name.
And,
either.
of course, our favourite, Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Always coming back
like a bit of the Kurgan.
as the general. And this one surprised me. I have to say, I was really looking forward to Gotham and Flash. I was a bit meh, as I think most people were. I've always liked the Flash. I never bought any Barry Allen Flash, but used to buy it when it was Wally West.
Yeah,
who obviously took over when Barry died in Crisis on Infinite Earths, but was very pleased when he came back in the comics, and was one of my favourite ones from the DC New 52 relaunch. The Flash I loved, but despite that, I was still thinking, Flash, I'm sure it'll be okay. But absolutely blown away, and I would say if you were to ask me to choose between the two, I would go Flash every time. I thought the Flash was absolutely superb, culminating in a finale that, man, I mean, there was...
Which I'm not going to lie to our listeners here, okay? I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, and for the purpose of this podcast, I asked you just to give me a heads up as to what the last 2 episodes were. When you were telling me, I nearly welled up.
You were welling up.
It sounds jaw-dropping, and I will watch it as soon as I possibly can.
It was so emotional. I mean, there was 2 times in it when I was very, very close to tears.
Yeah.
It tugged at the heartstrings, but it was all so, okay, within the realm of a guy who can run at super speed. It was so believable, but I've always maintained that. As long as your characters and their motivations are believable, it doesn't matter how much of a fantastic background you drop them into, you will believe it and you will care about it. And so many times you get people in realistic situations who are so badly written that you don't buy it at all, whereas these you absolutely did. It was brilliant. And as I say, that last episode, and in my eyes, one of the most unexpected but deeply heartfelt sacrifices I've ever seen in a TV show. Absolutely jaw-dropping.
It was a surprise to me in the whole, I think, Flash.
Oh, I.
Purely flip.
You've had a few surprises in the whole.
Don't edit that out. That's gold dust. I've had a Flash surprise in the whole. The show in... I don't know where to go with this now. The show itself, the whole show was just a huge surprise to me because, as I said to you at the top of this, I don't know a great deal about the Flash, and I've always thought to myself, well, as superpowers go, running fast, what can you do with it? But this really did show me quite how much scope they've created for me just saying all he can do is run fast. He's the fastest man in the world.
And they barely touched on the whole Speed Force thing as well.
Yeah.
But that great double episode whereby he's running along and he sees himself.
Yeah.
And then you get the jump to the alternative timeline,
Very cleverly done,
whereby he sees himself the other way. I mean, so well done.
And you do have to be very, very careful when you're doing anything that involves time travel.
Yes,
because you can either do it really well, or you can kind of
cock it up,
put the pen down halfway through writing it, go back to it, and go, now what did I do? Oh, I fucked it up.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't. It was very well written, the whole show. And I think it was a perfect kind of foil to maybe things like Gotham and Daredevil, which were very dark. Obviously, Daredevil being a lot darker than Gotham. Sorry, Gotham, but it was. This was just, as I said at the top, very Saturday morning serial, very bright, very colourful. Everyone was lovable, but still, as you said, had that real dark cloud that was looming in the background, which obviously came in those last few episodes.
Yeah.
But what we knew was always there. Yeah, brilliant. Bring it. More of it. More, please. More the Flash.
The only main character we haven't touched on is Iris, of course, who I thought, I mean, a great bit of casting. I thought she was absolutely superb, but so well written as well. Oh, she is stunningly beautiful,
Patton,
yes.
Yeah.
Funny enough, she was in The Guest.
Really?
She was in The Guest.
Poor girl.
Very briefly.
Sorry, Candy.
As an army sort of telephone operator. And I thought, oh, it's Iris. But no, I mean, what a great written character.
Yeah.
She was gutsy and
sassy, smart, all those things that you want from a female character.
Absolutely.
Without obviously, just being a cookie cutter girl character.
Well, this is it. I mean,
and she wasn't that at all.
In the comics, even though Iris is very important to Barry, she's just Iris. Whereas I felt this Iris was much more in the lines of Lois Lane. She was, even with the whole reporting bit
very
as well.
much so, yeah.
She was a real tough customer, and I liked her reaction to finding out finally that Barry was the Flash. I thought, completely believable, and how can you tell all these people but not tell me? And the whole thing with Eddie as well. I thought, that whole triangle was very well played out, and I thought he sort of started off as very smarmy, and of course we're very much rooting against him because we want Barry and Iris to get together, but then sort of took a bit of a dark turn, but then sort of redeemed himself in the end. And I thought, again, just a real nice character arc. Yeah, absolutely.
A very good character arc.
I could ask using the same terms. A great character arc.
Great character arc. That's because technically, if you hadn't have got married and you hadn't have had children, we would be married and we would be living together in some sort of, hetero life mate thing. Not that I don't adore your wife, I do. Not in that way, obviously. She's your wife. I'm going to quit while I go into
it. Yeah, let's go. Let's move on. One final thing I will say about The Flash is something that I've not been privy to before is TV shows that have crossovers. Yes. And from what I've read and from everything I know, this has been one of the more successful ones that's done it. We both already admitted that we didn't really get on with Arrow. No. But I liked seeing him come into The Flash. I liked him when he was in the Flash's world. In a way, it almost made me want to go back and start watching it again and give it a second chance. But then I thought, frankly, I've just got so much other stuff to watch that I'm never going to get around to it. I was exactly the same. But, particularly with the whole Ray Palmer thing, with the Atom, who, of course, was Brandon Routh, who played Superman in Superman Returns. So his second superhero role. Yeah. But that was quite interesting, and kind of made me want to find out more about that, because there was a guy at work I used to chat to this about who watched Arrow and was saying, oh, yeah, there's this guy who Felicity What's-Her-Name's going out with. And I sort of, once I saw the crossover, I thought, you never told me you was Ray Palmer. You told me he's a bloody Atom. But no, again, just what I love is that they're slowly introducing these little nods along the way to various things. You had all the villains who were given the name. I mean, great to see Gorilla Grodd as well. I thought that was a really nice little bit of fan service episode as well. So, no, just a really fantastic, surprising, a real sort of sleeper hit. I think it was the one, Gotham was the one everybody had the high expectations for because Batman's so popular, and Flash was always going to be seen as second best, whereas to me I thought Flash came through, and at the two of them was the must-watch show. It was fantastic. I think we're definitely going to get more of Flash. Oh God, yes. But it obviously is going to lead into what we discussed very briefly the other day, which is Legends of Tomorrow. Yes. Which I'm pretty excited about. I think that looks like a shit ton of fun. Yeah. It looks really good. But that is for another podcast. Okay. Right. Anything more you want to add? Or have we done them to death? We've done that, haven't we? Excellent. We've done. Gotham, done. But well done, DC. I think finally they're getting on the map, which is good. Okay, it may only be on TV rather than the big screen. But I think DC probably have more work to do in that. And, this is a real positive step by them. Do you know what? I have got one more thing I'll say. Oh, go on. I'm going to just put one more little oar in. And it's carrying on off. It's going off the back of what you've just said. Mm-hmm. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, I didn't get on with it at all. Okay, I found it very, very dull. If I'm honest, right, yeah. But the DC shows I thought were brilliant. Right. Now I wonder if we're going to have this same tilt in the DC movies, because thus far the DC movies have been a bit crap, haven't they? Green Lantern. Yes. Things like that. Yeah. I'm just wondering how the whole Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice thing is going to go. Man of Steel didn't do universally well, did it? I mean, no. I liked it. I thought it was good. It was a very solid film, yeah. I thought it was very good. It's interesting to me, though, just to see that it appears that the DC TV shows seem to be just that little notch above. But then again, what other Marvel TV shows have there been? Well, Daredevil, but I mean, Daredevil is brilliant. Which I would put above these two. Really, so... you take that one and put it above two whole shows. What do you mean two whole shows? Well, one show against two. I mean, I'm talking as in for pounds to ounces, however you want to put it. Well, no, I'm not comparing one show to two shows. I'm comparing three different shows and saying which is my favourite of the three of them, and it was Daredevil. My apologies. What I'm doing here is saying how many hits they've had
As in, to me, DC have had 2 hit TV shows, whereas if you look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil, to me there's only 1 hit show for me there, which was Daredevil.
Well, yeah, quite, but that's your opinion.
Yes.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back for a 3rd season.
So therefore my opinion is wrong.
Well, no, it isn't wrong. You're completely entitled to it. I know. Clearly people are enjoying it. And what I liked is that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the last couple of episodes we had, were the ones that tied into to Age of Ultron. In as much as there was this whole thing where people were worried that Coulson was going nuts and wasn't able to run S.H.I.E.L.D. properly, and Agent May found out that there was this thing called I think it was the Theta Project or the Theta something, which was this thing that he was keeping secret from her, and then suddenly at the start of an episode you found him at this sort of secret S.H.I.E.L.D. base talking about the Theta Project, and they went in and it was the helicarrier.
Well, see, now you've just made me want to watch it, but I just can't be bothered because it let me down.
That they'd stashed away, and so this whole thing that had been keeping secret was the fact that they had an active helicarrier that obviously was what saved the day in Age of Ultron.
Oh, shit, maybe I need to watch it.
And I just love that. Well, but maybe it isn't for you because it is very much characters that are nothing to do with the films, and therefore you have to invest in the characters. And frankly, I mean, a lot of people said that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started slowly. I didn't think it did, but a lot of people said it took a while to get going. But frankly, if you've watched 5 or 6 episodes and you're not digging it, then you're never going to dig it. Because
fair enough.
If you don't care about those characters by then you're never going to, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I just love the fact I think it's interesting characters. And particularly with the second season, it kind of... I wasn't sure where they were going with it, but they've really flashed it out. And what they have done is introduce the Inhumans, which again, is a lovely little side. And we've also found out that
I wasn't aware of this.
That the character Skye, who had a very mysterious background, it turns out that her parents are Carl McLachlan, who's Mr. Hyde, who's always losing his temper and smashing stuff up, and the leader of the Inhumans, and she is actually an Inhuman. She was actually exposed to the Terrigen gas and therefore developed these sort of almost vibration powers, and she's actually the character Quake, Daisy Johnson from the comics.
See, this all sounds interesting now. You've sold the second season to me.
But this is it. But I think that there are great little things in there. But again, as with any show, it all revolves around whether you care about the characters. Yeah. And if you don't, then that's fine. There's plenty more out there. Like I say, there's Gotham, The Flash and Daredevil. So much great stuff.
And there's plenty more to come.
Well, this is it, indeed.
And we will be touching on those.
We'll be touching on them all.
Oh, Billy fucking Zane.
Well, on that bombshell,
that's
all for this episode. So, from myself, Graham,
myself, Scott,
thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.